Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up was published in 2021 by WizKids. It was designed by Jeff Engelstein and illustrated by Gong Studios. WizKids provided this in exchange for an honest review. Go for Gold is about mining gold. High Roller Heist is about a team of thieves trying to steal valuables. Pin Pals has you and your partner trying to win a wrestling match. Top Speed is about car racing. 1 to 4 players bounce their pinballs off bumpers, drop targets, and more to score points. This box offers something a little different this time around, a semi-cooperative table called Pin Pals. Players roll the dice to manipulate the ball around the table to activate zones or objects, such as unlocking abilities or areas, triggering multipliers, and more. I reviewed Super Skill Pinball 4K in late 2020, and I've added a link to that at the end of this video. The general mechanisms of the series, movement, drop targets, nudges, and so on, are explained there. Later in this video, I'll take a deeper look at each of the new tables. To break it down, roll dice, score combos, and outscore your opponents. That's Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up. Our games of Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up have averaged 80 minutes, including setup and takedown. Solo games will likely be shorter. Player areas are the size of placemats. If you can fit people at your table, you can play this. Honestly, with an app and a clipboard, you could play this on the go. Aside from Pin Pals, player count doesn't affect this game. A 7 or even 6-year-old can understand the rules of the Go for Gold table. The prioritization of actions and mitigation of luck mean this is probably best saved for experienced 8-year-olds. Save Top Speed for kids even older than that. Our third game of Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up was on the Top Speed table. Early on, I bounced around the bumpers, earning me a bunch of skill shots. In the second round, I triggered multi-ball before hitting the test track. I went around the loop so many times it honestly got boring, but I couldn't stop, partially due to my good luck, but mostly due to my burning desire to crush my parents. Which I did. Go for Gold is the starter table and can be used to learn or relearn the core movement rules and mechanisms. You'll want to get up Fool's Folly to where the bigger points are. The flume chute connecting to the minecarts is cool. Make loops for big points if you use your dice right or have luck on your side. If you don't, you still have the option to drop down to the Lost Mine or the Falls before returning to the main table. Even though it's straightforward, I enjoyed this table. It does a great job covering the basics of Super Skill Pinball where you're like, oh right, I remember how that works again, while still being a fun experience. Simple doesn't mean it's boring. High Roller Heist is incredibly thematic, but because of that, is incredibly luck-based. Sure, like with all tables, there are plenty of mitigators, but sometimes the numbers won't go your way. Maybe you lost a ball taking too long to hack the security camera, or wasted time digging the tunnel only for you to have no choice but to hire that crew member. The crew has this feeling like Bro Brothers in that each plays a role to help pull off the heist. Like in that game, the guard also plays a role. You may have hit it big on the slots, but that 3 of a kind has the guard rushing for you. You may have lucked into a brilliant crime at the Mint's Pyramid, but you can't just get the doubles for the big prize. Going back to the crew, they, and a few other elements, don't get erased when you lose a ball. Seeing as you only have 2 balls this time instead of the usual 3 helps this table stand out. The first time I played Pin Pals, Mom enjoyed it more than I did. I think of pinball as a solo experience, not a semi-cooperative one. I like the idea, though. Pinball is a game about reacting, and you'll sure react when your opponent scores extra thanks to your bonus, or you do the same thanks to theirs. Maybe we were a bit too friendly. I tried it again with Dad, and we either chose bonuses that didn't work well at that time, say multi-ball when the other one only had 1 available flipper space, or made a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours deal. It was much better. Top Speed continues the uniqueness trend by adding a gear shift mechanism. To get onto the test track and other high scoring areas, you gotta go fast. Then again, if you don't step off the gas, you're gonna blow right past those drop targets and run out of available spots on your flippers quickly. Again, super thematic. It's also super tricky to wrap your head around it at first. Unfortunately, as I mentioned in story time, you may be on the test track for a long time, and while that'll be good for your high score, it isn't as tense or even interesting as the upper glass sections on some of the other tables. Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up is a roll and write with a bit of a roll and move element as well. I talked in my review of the original how I expected to like the game and ended up loving it. Well, this box is even better. Not just the themes, but how the tables continue to explore new ways of rewarding players' cleverness, balancing luck, and capturing the feel of pinball. If I had to rank them, I'd say High Roller Heist was my favorite table, then Go for Gold, Pin Pals, and finally Top Speed. While I was reviewing this, WizKids announced a Star Trek box set. With that and more original tables in the works, I'm very excited for the future of this game.